If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team. Welcome back to the Washington Talk. Yeah, that was the quote that my buddy Alan mentioned when we were recording the podcast today. We were chatting about a lot of different things, and that seemed to, come up on his mind. And I just thought it was very interesting. I think, you know, right now with society, everybody's trying to get ahead. Everybody's trying to be in a rush. I catch myself sometimes thinking like, what am I rushed for? What is the extra 2, 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand that I save is gonna do in the long run? Uh, and I get the practicality. I like the feeling of safety and the feeling of um, just not having to worry about money or worry about other things. But the crazy thing is that nothing's secure in life. I mean, I can be here today and be gone tomorrow for no particular reason, not necessarily pandemic related or non-pandemic. You get hit by a car, that's it. I, I think this is the mentality I've been having. Been going on walks and just thinking about having that nice balance, not feeling like you have to be rushing towards things or especially with the new year. Um, the whole new year, new me, I'm not a big fan of. And don't take it in a wrong way if maybe you are one of those people who do those type of posts or tags or whatever. But wishing is not gonna get you anywhere. You gotta put in the work. You actually have to execute. And it's if you're goal orientated or if you're a big budget nerd like myself, then you kind of have to remind yourself that not everything has to be safe. Not everything has to be you know a goal. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to spend some money to go on traveling. It's okay to you know take the longer road home type of thing. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think what triggered all these conversations were there was this post of this French model that took a picture like in business class, and then somebody else took a picture of her sitting in economy class. Well, I understand that when you don't have that type of money, like you want to pretend like you're doing so much better. And to me, I don't know, man. I am like super anti the whole flexing. But the conversation came up with our buddy Allen today on on the podcast mentioning flexing and things of that nature. And one thing that that he did say was that I thought it was interesting. He was like, "Well, if people get bothered by the fact that I post my stuff, that's on them. If they're not helping me or they're not paying for any of my bills, then that's their personal problem." And I started thinking about that. I think, I come across people that are constantly putting things on their story and their posts on Instagram and whatnot, what they bought, what they're doing, and that's just not my personality. I've traveled way more this past year than I've ever traveled my entire life, and the only reason people would know that I was somewhere else was because my wife would be the one posting and tagging me. But for me, you know, I do believe in flexes, and to me, the biggest flex is the one that you don't show. It's different for everybody, you know. Some people love the fake it till you make it type of mentality, and I'm not one of those people. But I will be arguing for the other side. I'll be devil's advocate and say that yeah, I mean you have to, fake it till you make it. Otherwise, how do you keep yourself pushing forward? Um, I mean, if I wanted to be devil's advocate, of course. But no, I mean, in all honesty, I'm one of those people that I'm trying to learn. It's a weird situation because I'm trying to learn time and how time relates to I'm 30 years old. That's not old, but that's not young. Time is moving fast. And I remember when I was like 15, I was like, cool, I can't wait to get older. And now I'm like, damn, I wish I could be 15 again. Um, but I realize that if I'm trying to build something, it takes time. If it's meaningful, especially, it's gonna take time. If you want to build something fast, it'll crumble pretty fast. And so, yeah, the whole fake it until I make it. No, I'm not a big fan of that. Um, right now I'm just sitting on saving money. Not necessarily because I can't go make that down payment on a house and get a house. It's just not. It hasn't, fulfilled all my boxes. Now, not to say that you're wrong if you do it now or you don't. It's it's not my money. It's you. It's your time. The same equivalent of like pursuing your career, right? Like if you're trying to build a business or you're trying to, get promotions at work, and you're that one guy or that one girl who stays up very late in the office till 11, you know, you take pride in the 14, 16, 20 hours days that you work, and I mean you're neglecting a lot of different things. So, you know, I think there's a downside and upside to everything. So for me, I think it's having that simplicity of understanding what time is, understanding that whatever I'm working for, it will come. I feel like I'm in this weird position um, where I have a abundance of wealth in so many different areas, not just you know uh, money, but there's so many different areas that I have so much wealth. I have time, I have great friendships, great experiences, and obviously it didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen just by magic. I mean, I busted my butt off. Sometimes I wish I would have recorded all those things, man. Just the long days, you know, getting home and studying from like 1 in the morning till 3 in the morning, and then be up by 5:30. That's why I've aged so much. Just, I had the energy. I guess I still have the energy. I'm just choosing to deploy it with something else or do something else. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame that Instagram model for taking a picture at the business class and then having to stay in the economy. I don't blame her. I don't think she's wrong. I think her perception is wrong. I think the fact that she's caught up in that social media now, apparently she's part of it, part of the problem of that, which is, pretend pretend like you're doing something that you're not really. Pretend like you look a certain way when you don't. These filters and everything, man. There's no filters in real life. But I think that's a problem. I think a lot of us, are kind of living more on social media platforms and not real life. It's interesting to kind of understand that because um, as we move forward, it's we're going digitally, and there's no doubt in my mind that that cannot be all good. There's going to be some negative effects to it. Kind of like what we're seeing now. The fear of missing out, like it's constant. I mean, you look up your social media, and it's like, well, what am I feeding myself with? And of course, if you see somebody your age or even younger that's already quote unquote buying the house, buying the projects, buying the parts, buying whatever, traveling. Damn, yeah, it hits you in the head like, damn, like how come they're able to do it, or should you just do it, even if you're like, you know, not 100% ready or whatever the case may be. Truth be told, you're never gonna be ready for certain things in life, but I think you can definitely be unready, super unready to take on some stuff. Um, you know, I just I think about the challenges that I've been able to overcome. Getting through school, and now I have my career, and I legitimately like it. I'm not gonna say I love it. Um, there's definitely aspects of it that I don't love, but I generally like it. I really do. And I, when it comes to time, I'm just hoping it goes slow, man. It's going too fast. Um, and I think I caught myself, you know, hoping for something, and then once I got it, then I was hoping for something else. I'll give you a little story. Last night, uh, I've been doing my research on like mutual funds and things like that. I don't know much about it, right? So I started doing my research. I was like, okay, this is the old school boring way of just investing your money instead of just having it sit in the bank. Like, this is a big step for somebody with my, background, with my situation, with where I come from, with what I've done. This is second nature to somebody else whose family's always done it. Um, you know. So I was doing my research. Um, Finally, I ended up, opening up an account with Fidelity, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna, invest in these two index funds. The crazy part was that I was able to invest about 1,500 divided by two, right? So like I don't know, 800 and 700. I don't remember. Um, and then today walking with my wife, I was like, you know what's crazy? I remember when I was undergrad student, and my monthly payments for school was $600, and sometimes I couldn't make the payment. I had to, make 350, $450 payments, and I was always behind. I was always behind, and I was always behind just enough so I wouldn't get dropped from the classes. But my payment was $600 a month. I would always, finish the semester and then pay the next payments over winter break or over the summer. And that's when I realized, like, damn, like I have abundance of wealth. I don't have a lot of money, but with the money that I do have, I've been able to manage it. And there was times that I was hoping, man, if I could only just finish school. Well, I finished school. What if I could just get the career? Well, I got the career. Well, what if I could just, and there's always something else. I remember, when we live in a place where I don't want to live, I was like, dude, I'm okay with driving old school 90s, Hondas if it means I'm in, this certain area. Now I have it. Now I'm like, man, I want my Porsche. Now I want this. Like, it's a constant thing. And so having that discussion with myself, I was like, damn, you've come a long way, man. Now, you know, not saying that $1,000 is not a lot. It's a lot of money, but it's also, I'm so glad that it's not as much as it was for me 5, 6 years ago. And granted, people love to use the word lucky. Oh, well, you're so lucky you don't have bills. You're so lucky this. It's not luck. I mean, look at me. I'm watching a 95 Honda Accord. Could easily be watching something else more expensive with the car payment. And maybe I will eventually, but for now this is more than enough. I understand that, through previous years I've always been rushing, wanting to finish the school, wanting to get the job, wanting to, X, Y, and Z. It's always wanting something. And then it's not when you stop and think like, damn, like you're exactly where you wish you were before. That crazy? I don't know if any of you guys have ever had that. And so, when you start thinking about all these different things that I've told you about, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. Yeah, I mean, that goes with anything, with a brand, with, your relationships. I think that it's interesting, that people are constantly trying and trying to impress others or get validation because of this stupid social media. Um, and again, that's just their personality. That's social media is not creating creating this type of things. It's just exposing it because now we have access to a couple buttons, and then I can share my thoughts with whoever's following or whoever wants to hear. That's why I think we're spoiled in that sense that we have the most communication we've ever had, but at the same time we don't. And so even though we can see what somebody's up to, when people love recording themselves, oh, in the airport, flying, oh, I just landed. obviously he's gonna raise the question, oh, where did you go? And so some people will ask genuinely, like, oh, I don't care, that's cool. Other people might look at that and be like, damn, I'm stuck at work. I don't make that type of money. Um, and I know it's neither there or here. I mean, ultimately, like, you can see it in a different way. You can interpret it as you can see it as motivating. Other people can see it as showing off. Whatever, you get to choose however you want. But to me, I'm just more of that. The real flexes are the ones that you don't flex, and I think that's just my personality. And the reason why also is because um, I've come across so many people that are very wealthy, not not your average earners. And when you look at their demeanor, when you look at their character, when you look at the way they behave and they carry themselves, it's nothing compared to some individuals who brag and show these things. And that to me is interesting. You know, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm not in the mission of chasing money, but if I'm not also not allergic to it, so I would want to be that multi-millionaire, shit, billionaire. Why not? And still wash my car outside in 90s Honda. I would want to be that person that nobody knows. To me, that's what I like. Other people want to be known. Other people want to be able to pull up to the car meet, and people, oh man, that's so and so, and you know, put them on their story. Nah, man, like that's not me. And I legitimately don't think one is better than the other. That's just who I am as a person. That's just me as an individual who I think that um, I've been extremely grateful to have been raised by a single mom who always teaches you hard work and never showing off. And once you have that, once you've actually had some struggles, and even I would argue that I've never had real struggles. My mom really had struggles, and for her to come to a different country, not knowing the language, not knowing one single person, that's to me that's real struggles. That's a real flex. You know, taking care of three boys on minimum wage while taking the bus to work. It would take her like about an hour and a half every day, close to 2 hours. That's you know true hard work. Um, so I think for me, on a personal level, I think it's a disservice to pretend like I am something that I'm not, or to pretend that I have more than I don't. I think I just, we all have different upbringings, and so that's definitely been one that has always gone with me. Where my mom always has taught me be humble for many reasons. You know, be humble because it's just not a good look when you're being wild and kind of obnoxious with the things that you do have. Be humble because you never know what life has for you. And that one specifically always throws at me, man. Like I'm always thinking like, damn, that's true. She's like, right now you're healthy. She's like, you're overweight, but you're healthy. But you have to take care of yourself. God forbid some accident happens. You're not gonna be making the same money that you're making. Because your job may not be able to keep you. You have to know the way you carry yourself, because guess what? Not that you're asking for people for help, but in case you need it, who's actually gonna help you? If your entire time that you've been on a good ride and you've been in a good moment, you've been showing off and you've been showing all these different things, when things get bad, people are gonna be like, well, he has money. Well, I mean, you know, I'm sure he'll figure it out. But if you actually do or don't, that's gonna be a different story. And so, I think that's where my whole mentality comes from. Just being able to have that type of guidance from my mom, um, and so when I have conversations, like today's podcast, and they say things like that, that quote, it reminds me that wherever you're trying to go, you'll get there. And there's different ways of getting there. It clearly reminds me of the quote by Gary Vee, who goes a little bit like this. You know, there are a couple ways of building the tallest building in the city. Number one, building the tallest building in the city. Number two, knocking everybody else's down. So, obviously, metaphor, um, you can you can try to be the greatest, but if along the way you're bashing people, eh, are you really? You can try to be the greatest, maybe you don't bash people, but you're neglecting some aspects of your life, then, so it's a constant balance that I'm kind of facing with myself right now. um, I just want life to slow down. I like where I am in my personal life. um, Tony Robbins says something along the lines of reaching your goals and not having satisfaction is the ultimate failure. And it's like, damn, no wonder America is so, the country America is so unhappy, because a lot of us are pushing so fast and so quick that once we get that, we don't have that satisfaction. Now we're looking for something else. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You look at your peers, oh man, my peer who graduated with me is already, has a house, or it's traveling around the world, and here I am. It's just nonsense. So obviously I have a wide variety of people who tune into these Washington talks, different age groups, different backgrounds, different walks of lives. I'm just kind of sharing my point of view on the different things. Not necessarily that I'm right. I could be wrong. I could be, um, contradicting myself. I don't know. But I think I'm just trying to be as calm, as humble, have enjoyed the time that I have going on. Because time is moving fast, man. Time is moving way too fast. I can't believe I'm 30. I can't believe we're in 2022. Um, and I'm I'm preaching to the choir. People like Rob from Canada and other individuals. Gene, who's like 53, 54, I think. They'll look at me like, dude, I'm 20 years older than you are. Chillax, you still got time. But yeah, I mean, just kind of, I'm just, man, I don't know where the time's going. I don't know where it has been. So I am trying to make sure that the time that I have, yeah, it gets allocated in a proper way. Like I told you guys, I'm a huge budget nerd. Um, I don't make much, but whatever I do make, it gets handled accordingly. But also, how can we start now? Enjoy a little bit more, um, traveling, things like that. Because you can't be one-sided. You can't just be holding on to every penny. You can't just be spending every penny. So it's like that balance, right? Um, and so yeah, man. I mean, it was just trippy to be able to experience different things, um, like being able to start investing into these funds because um, I wanted to educate myself on it, and it's very old school, very boring, very conservative, very safe. But that's okay. And just thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? This is gonna take time. And but time goes so fast that before I know it, I'm gonna be like, damn, I was 30 when I started this. Now I'm 45. Now I'm 50. And hopefully I get to live to that age because life happens. But yeah, definitely not faking it till I make it. I already made it. I'm happy with what I have. I don't I don't need validation from people to make myself feel better. Um, and not to say that you know, I don't fall into that black hole of like, damn, like this was already bought the house, this was already have the cars, this guy have multiple cars. Like it gets to me, at times. Quickly just listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of different things, and it reminds me patience, it reminds me time, it reminds me, living with less. It reminds me a lot of different things that I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, everything looks good from afar, and people are constantly just posting their highlights of their life, the positive stuff. Nobody posts, I have these two cars, but the car payment, or and I'm arguing with my wife or whatever. Anyways, Not faking it till I make it. That's for sure. That's the goal. Thank you guys so much for the love and the support. I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.